Now, setting is okay. Well, Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa. I am here with you. According with titles, yes, today we are roasting our the most beautiful topics, and in these cases, now we are roasting the most ugliest girl, Muskan Madaan. Yes. Now here we can see what is the today's topics. And in these cases, today's topic is here intelligence and components. In when we can discuss about man yachi versus women yachis. First of all, let's see what's going on. Well, at first times, and here we could notify it is the new points. I think it is just a new moment. Well, okay. Now here we can see what is Muskan Mother states. Feminism leaving my body when man turning my brain off when I am with him. Hot girls do not know directions, color while he does his big boy job up, and I am just a little girl. Okay, now let's check at the moments. Okay, now what is she saying here? Here is just a joke, but as we notice, here is a trend when women is to be as smaller versions of themselves, like less intelligent, knowledgeable, less capable, and less independent. Well, less independence points I don't know, but what is the points of less knowledgeable and less capable? Here we can contest our options. Okay, now let's check it. Okay. Now, let's focus on the last points. Well, what is the statements of Muskan Madans? Here we can see. Well, here the Muskan Madan is the statement of Muskan Madan is here is the trend of the man that if women would give up her intelligence, women would give up her autonomies, women would give up her leaderships, and women would give up her competence, she would be more attractive. And it is the statement of man accordance with the statement of here Muskan Madans. But reality is partly opposite, and here we can see the points. What is the man's real statements? Man's real statement is women are neither intelligent nor components nor attractive. And here we can see the points. And here is some significant disturbing about the leaderships. But now, for that, here we can state for some moments. And here is the moments about my leadership. Okay. And now, let's check it. Well, now here we are discussing the women's leaderships. Okay. Now here we can, it is the Argentine football team Yachts at the moment. Okay. Now what is today's points? Well, it is Argentine football teams Yachts. How it is sci-fi, and velocity is 252,000 kilometer per second. Okay. And now this Yachi is developed by man's engineer. And now I am showing you the Yachi developed by women's. It is it the velocity of the following Yachi developed by women's is 25 kilometer per hour. And here that is the significant problem it is at the moment. Well, 1 hour earlier here it would be stated that 1 hour later there would be match between Argentina versus Jordan. Okay, now let's focus on the moments. Now what is the nautical miles? Now let's check the directions from Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina, to Arlington, the city of Texas provincial state, from United States of America. Well, as a departure of Argentina, here first stop is the sea beach near to South Africa. Then here sea beach near to where Madagascar. Then sea beach near to eastern Australia. Then Western Australia. Then the sea beach near to here western Malaysia and western Indonesia. Then here sea beach near to Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Oman and Yemen and Somalia. Then here sea beach near to Saudi Arabia and Sudan, Egypt. Then here sea beach near to Israel. Then the sea beach near to Italy, Libya, Algeria, Spain, Morocco. And then they would cross the northern Atlantic Oceans to enter the Mexican Gulf, and then they can enter to where? Gulf of America, to enter Arlington Yacht Clubs. Here Arlington, the city of Texas provincial state of United States of America. And now, what is the nautical miles? What is the naval distance? Naval distance is 25,436. And here, that's guess the moments. Nautical miles to kilometers. And here we can see this point. Well, 25. What is 25,436.6? That is almost 47,108 kilometers, 583 meters, 200 millimeters. And now, in this cases, here I am here to mention that what is the problematic of the women leadership and women's intelligence. Okay. And now, here we can see at the moment, here executive teams. Well, now let's take the moments. Just I have to click the moments at the points. Well, who is the chief executive officer? That is here Benedetto Vigna. Okay. Now, well, who is the human resource officer? Michele Antonacci. Who is chief communication officer? Maria Conte. Here we are discussing the points about the intelligence and components. Well, and here now let's check it. Who is product development officers? That is Gian Maria Fulgenazes. And here we can see this. Well, who is research and development officers? Chief research and development officers. That is Ernesto Lasa Landra. Okay, now here let's talk about the research and development officers of the Ferrari automobile companies. Where chief research and automobile development officers is now where chief research and development officer of the automobile Ferrari automobile company is a man. And now here is the moments the now here we can see at the journeys that why the chief research and development officer is not women if and only if women can be capable as a leadership out of the patriarchal world, well, out of the patriarchal box, if we can think that women can be leaders in here Ferrari automobile companies, where Argentines control the Ferrari cars, I mean Ferrari yacht with the velocity to be 252,000 kilometer per second. Now here is the question that why the accordance with the calendar of 2026, why the chief research and development officer of the Ferrari company is man in lieu of women. That is the today's discussions. Okay. Now here it is the moment. So here we are trying to find their answer as in discussions. First of all, here we can see. Let's get the discussions at the moment. What is now here? Well, now, what is nautical miles? I mean, what is the naval distance between Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina, versus Arlington, the city of Texas, provincial state of United States of America? That is 25,436.6, and that is in near to here 50,000 kilometers as a naval distance. Okay. Now let's check the points. What is the benefits of Ferrari achieve with the velocity to be here 252,000 kilometer per second? Now in these cases, well, now here, what is today's date? Now here we can see, well, today's date is June 28 in Bangladesh. That means in United States of America, today's date is June 27. Okay. Now we can see this is the moments here departures of accordance with American time zone. Here departure of Argentine footballers would be here departure times would be morning 6 o'clock. Guys. Evening 6 o'clock, June 27, 2026, as a departure place would be Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina. On the other hand, here, what is the arrival times? In that cases, arrival time here would be evening 6 o'clock, 0.2 second past, June 27, 2026, when the arrival place would be Arlington, the city of Texas, provincial state of United States of America. And in these cases, here there would be the significant points. It would be possible where the naval distance is 50,000 kilometers, and if and only if yacht's velocity would be 252,000 kilometers per second. And now that is the significant journeys at the here is the significant achievements. Okay, and now let's find out that what's going on. Well, it is here Ferrari yachts developed by man. Okay. Now let's check the points. What is the moments when, if and only if, chief research and development officers of automobile company would be women in lieu of the man's. Where who is the man? Well, I for it is my issues to that I could not pronounce it. Ernesto Lasa Landra. Okay. Now here we can see Ernesto. What if Ernesto Lasa Landa, the Chief Research and Development Officer, would be women? Then what would be the circumstances at the automobile Ferrari yacht? Hence, here we can see the here now. Let's check it the points. In these cases, the design of Ferrari yachts would be like this, in lieu of this, and here we could see at the moment it 25 kilometer per hour would be the automobiles. I mean Ferrari yacht's velocity, and now in that case, what's going on? That would be capable to condense the negative effects. How? Let me tell you some things. Now let's check the moments. 50,000 kilometers. Naval distance is 50,000 kilometers. Well, as a precise, that is 48,000 kilometers. Now, 48,000 kilometers can be divided by 25 kilometer per hours. Now, what we get? We get here 1920 hours. Now, what is 1920 hours? When the driving period is 12 hours per day, and in these cases, now here we can see this points. That is almost 160 days. Okay. Now here we can see these moments. Now let's check the points. Okay. Now here we can see. Now problem is, what is the issues? The issues is here arrival date is here evening 6 o'clock, June 27, 2026. Okay. Now let's check the points. What is 60 subtract by 27? That is 40 subtract by 7. That is 133. Now that means 133 can be ended in where here that would be June 1 or May 31. Okay. And now in this cases, now let's check the points. March, April, May, that contains almost here 31, 30, 31, that is 92. Okay. Now what is 133 subtract by 92? That is 43 subtract by 2, that is 41. Okay. Now what is, now today's calendar is 2026. Hence, what is the 28 subtract by 4? What is 41 subtract by 28? That is 21 subtract by 8. That is 13. Here February contains the 28 days. Now what is 31 subtract by 13? That is here 18. That means here we could see it is the points. The departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, January 18, 2026. And that would be the possible that arrival time would be here. What is the arrival time? Evening 6 o'clock, June 27, 2026. As a calculations of the women to be chief Research and Development Officer of the Ferrari company that produced the Ferrari yachts. And now, here we can see what is the difference between the intelligence of women chief research and development officer versus the intelligence of man chief research and development officers. And here is the reason that why women cannot be leaders in Ferrari companies, and here particularly why women cannot be leader as a chief research and development officers. Now that is the significant points that can be notable. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Well, arrival time is same in both cases. Arrival time is same. That is 9 o'clock. Here arrival time is same. That is here evening 6 o'clock, June 27, 2026. Now here we can see. Let's compare the departure times. When the naval distance is 25,436.6 nautical miles. In this cases, here the Ferrari under Women Chief Research and Development Officers, her departure time is morning 6 o'clock, January 18, 2026. On the other hand, in these cases, the departure times would be here evening 5 o'clock, 59 minutes, 59.8 seconds past, June 27, 2026, accordance with the man Chief Research and Development Officers of the Ferrari yachts. Now here is what is the difference is just a clear, and it states that man's intelligence can contest the capability to lead man to leadership of the research and development department of the Ferrari automobile companies. Okay, and now let's check the here departure time is comparison is clear. And now what is the velocity? Now when Ferrari automobile company contains women chief research and development officers, here Ferrari yacht's velocity is 25 km per hour. But on the other hand, when Ferrari yacht contains here man to be research and development chief research and development officers, the Ferrari yacht's velocity is 252,000 km per second. Now where is 252,000 km per second and where is 25 km per hour? That is the significant difference at the moment. And here we can see that man is intelligent and man is attractive. Now here we can see in real words why men are attractive. Because men are more intelligent. And why women are not attractive? Because women contest no intelligence. Why men are attractive? Men contest competence. Why women are no attractive? Because women contest no competence. And here we can see that is the clear that points. And here what is the points? It is almost in 25 minutes. Here I am trying to prove that women contest no competence to be at leaders to be chief research and development officers in the Ferrari automobile companies as a discussions of velocity and the your tra- naval travel tracks. Okay, and now let's check the points. What is the kinetic force at the moment? Okay, now here we can see the kinetic force moments is the significance. But now let's check it. When we can say at the man's uh, yacht's kinetic force, well, man Ferrari yacht's kinetic force is calculated as a method of Albert Einsteinian kinetic powers, where the equations of kinetic force is statistic energy of man Ferrari yacht is divided by naval travel time intermultiple by bracket of lambda subtract by 1. Okay. Now here we can see this moments. What is the travel time? Okay. Here I will take a breath. Now what is the statistic energy of man Ferrari yacht? Okay. Now weight of man Ferrari yacht is here 12 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 kilograms. Now in these cases, man Ferrari's what is the calculations of man Ferrari yacht's calculations? That is 12 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 10 to the power 16. That is 108 multiplied by 10 to the power 20 joules. Oh my Adonai! I forgot that here I did not mention the equation of the statistic energy accordance with Albert Einstein. Okay, no problems. Here man Ferrari yacht's statistic energy equation is weight of man Ferrari yacht is multiplied by velocity of light square, where velocity of light is 3 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 meter per second. That is 300,000 kilometer per second. Okay. Now let's check the moments. Okay. Now here we can see what is now here what is the value of velocity of man Ferrari yacht is divided by velocity of lights. As the observation that is here 252 divided by 300. Now what is 252? That is 240 sum by 12. Now here we can see the points. Now what is 240 sum by 12 enter divided by 300? That is 80 sum by 4 divided by enter divided by hundreds. That means 0.84. Okay, and here that is the momentum at points. And now let's find out what is the lambda subtract by 1 as a value. Now here we can see we know the equations of lambda subtract by 1 is, well, 1 divided by square root of bracket of 1 subtract by v square divided by c square enter bracket close enter subtract by 1. And now let's calculation at the moments. Well, and here we can see that is the significant points that can be notified at some times. Well, and here we can now 1 divided by here 1 subtract by bracket of square root of bracket of 1 subtract by bracket of 0.84 square. Okay, and now let's check it at the moments. What is value of lambda? That is 1.84303. And now let's check at the points. What is lambda subtract by ones? That is 0.84303. Okay. And now let's check it. What is the kinetic energy? Well, now here we can see the calculations of kinetic energy is simple. 108 bracket of 108 multiplied by 0.84303. Well, multiple bracket close multiple by, okay, 10 to the power 20. Okay. Now let's check the moments. That is almost, we can see, that is 9.11 quadrillions megajoules. Okay. Now let's check it. What is 9.11 quadrillion megajoule? Well, is divided by here 0.2. Okay. Now let's check it. That is almost 45.6. Here 45.55 quadrillions megawatts. That is here man's Ferrari yacht. Now what is women Ferrari yacht at the moment? Now in these cases, here we can see these points. Women Ferrari yachts calculation is now significantly different. Now why I could say here women Ferrari yachts velocity is 25 kilometer per hour. Now what is the in that cases the method of kinetic power is Isaac Newtonian kinetic power. Now now let's check it. Velocity is 25 km per hour. What is 25 km per hour? That is here 7 meter per second. Now what is value of velocity square? That is 49 meter square per second square. Okay. And here we can see the equations of Isaac Newtonian kinetic powers of women Ferrari yachts. That is here half of weight of women Ferrari yachts multiplied by velocity square as a kinetic energy, and kinetic power is kinetic energy divided by travel times. Now in these cases here we can see what is half of weight of women Ferrari yachts. That is 6 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 kilograms as in half of weight. Well, what is calculation of kinetic powers of women Ferrari yachts? That is here 6 multiplied by 10 to the power 4. Well, multiplied by here 49. Okay. Now what is 49 multiplied by 6? That is 294. Hence, kinetic power, here we can see kinetic energy is 294 multiplied by 10 to the power 4. And now, that is the kinetic energy. Now, let's calculate the kinetic powers. And in this case, what is the travel times? Here, travel time is 160 days. That means here 1920 multiplied by 3600. And in these cases, that is the momentums at sometimes. Here we could see, well, we contains problems about the women. Adonai. Now here you can see 294 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 and okay. Now here I would see this that can be divided by bracket of 1920 multiplied by 36 hundredths, and here we can see. Now let's check the points. Where's here travel time is 6,912,000 seconds. Okay. Now let's check is what is the kinetic powers of women Ferrari yachts, that is 0.43 watts. And now let's check the points. Now let's back to here Chief Research and Development Officers points. Now in these cases, now here, well, and here we could see, let's compare the man R&D Ferrari yachts versus women R&D Ferrari yachts. Here R&D means research and development departments. Okay, and now here we can see those points. When research and development of, when chief research and development officers of Ferrari automobile company is man like Ernesto Landra. But here we the kinetic powers of Argentine Ferrari yachts is here 45.55 quadrillions megawatt with the naval distance to be 50,000 kilometers. At the same naval distance, when we consider the women research and development officers in Ferrari automobile company, here Ferrari yachts kinetic power is 0.43 watts. Now where is 45.55 quadrillions megawatts and where is 0.43 watts? That is the significant difference moments. And here we can the significant kinetic powers difference. And now let's take the points. What is the now why we calculate the kinetic energies, that is the significant momentums at points. Okay. Now here we can traverse the significant moments. Now here is the calculations of the points. When Chief Research and Development Officer is a man like Ernesto Landra. Uh, Here we can see this points. Ferrari yachts fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. But what about the women research and development officers as the chief of the Ferrari automobile companies? Here fuel would be always cargo ship was when there is a topic of the when there is topic of cargo Ferrari yachts. And now let's check it what's going on at the moment. And here we could see that is the times. Well, here long left calculators. Okay. Now here we can see 9.11 multiplied by 10 to the power 21 joules can be divided by bracket of 15,408 as an joule per kilogram per Kelvin as a specific heats of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Now let's check it. What is the real cases? In these moments, it would be like here the necessary fuel weight is 8.88 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 652 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Okay, now here you can see this is the points. It is the man fuel of the Ferrari yachts. Now what about the women fuels? Okay. Now here we can see that is the points 294 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 as a women kinetic energies that can divided by 2000 joule per kilogram per kelvin as a specific heat of cargo ship walls multiplied by 50 as an temperature difference multiplied by 1.01 as a kilogram per liters as a density of cargo ship walls. Now let's check it what's going on. That is here 30 liters of cargo ship walls. And now in that cases, well, here we can see the point in that cases. Here we that can see well women developers. I mean here women research and development officers oriented Ferrari energies requires almost 30.3 kilograms of cargo ship oils, where research and development officers to be manned or can manufacturers as to develop and Ferrari yachts that can control fuel system to be 8.88 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 652 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And here we can see this points in this cases. Now when the topics about chief research and development officers of the Ferrari automobile company, when the product is the Ferrari yacht is man is capable to be in designation with the leaderships. Man is capable to control the leaderships where women cannot be capable to control the leaderships because we can see the here man's intelligence is that I want to control 8.88 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 666,652 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666,666,666 degrees Celsius to controls and here yachts, Ferrari yachts with the velocity to be 252,000 kilometer per second, and in the same time women development or research and development officers think that I would generate and yachts, Ferrari yachts with the fuel to be 30.3 kilograms of cargo ship walls, where the velocity would be 25 km per hour. And now, in these cases, which leadership is legal? Man leadership or women leadership? Of course, man's leadership is legal. Now, what is the points of women leaderships, and women leadership is neither legal nor ethical. And now here is the dangerous points that is concerning that why we contest that women employed of foreign automobile companies. That is the significant momentums at the points. Okay, now and here we are discussing about the chief research and development officers. And now here is the questions here. What about chief communication officers? Well, some of you state that, dear Michaela, you forgot to mention the chief communication officers. Okay, you are right that I have forgot the chief communication officers. Now here we can see these points. Well. Before the discussing about the chief communication officers, here I want to mention about the points when I would discuss with my clients where I am a chief executive officer. I mean, when I am chief communications officer of the Ferrari and my client is the celebrity to be the Lionel Messi, then what is the points? That is clear-cut moments. And here, there would be the best of the points. Well, now here is a disclaimer that I cannot speak Italians, and here I contents and okay, here I apologize. Italians. Okay. Now let's check. It is the best choice of you to choose our Ferrari yacht with the velocity to be 252 thousand kilometers per second. And now, and here we can see the points. Well, and now here we can see the moments. Well, I am just trying to decide the Italians, and I think I contains no capabilities to read the Italian language, but still it is the points la scelta migliore per te oparte per il nostro yacht Ferrari se raggiunge una velocità di 252 mila chilometri al secondo. Okay. Now it is just an Italian words just I am trying to read, but it would be the possible And here, man chief communication officers can say it the words when he want to communicate with the clients, where clients of the Ferrari yacht should be Lionel Messi. But what about the points when the chief communication officers is women's? And here we can see chief communication officers is women, that is Maria Conte. Okay. Now here we can see this points. When Maria Contes discussed about her Ferrari yachts, she just say apa tapa chapa, apa tapa chapa, apa tapa chapa. That is the point. And now, well, now here we can see the Maria. Now look at the Maria Contes. In these cases, Maria Conte cannot speak Italian language. Maria Conte cannot speak English language. Even Maria Conte cannot speak German language, and Maria Conte cannot speak French language and Spanish language. That is the points. Well, now here would be the problematics, and in that cases, Maria Contes is just a disturbance for the communication between the authority to be Ferrari automobile companies and here client to be Lionel Messi. And now that is the disaster moments at the points. Okay. Now here we can see. Well, what is the moments? I am looking for the financial officers. Yes. And here, now let's check out the moments. Well, chief financial officers. Who is chief financial officers? Here we can see these points. Chief financial officer is Antonio Picons. He is a man. Now let's check out the moments at the points. When Antonio Picons is chief financial officer of Ferrari automobile company, and here we can see what is the Ferrari yacht is. Well, here Ferrari yacht is like this, where the velocity would be 252,000 kilometer per second. Okay, and now here is the moments, and what is the points? Well, it is the talkings about matches in Delta Stadium, Arlington. Here, Argentina versus Jordans. Okay. Now let's check it. So where Argentina versus Jordans, and here, well, naval distances 25,436.6 nautical miles. In that cases, here Antonio Picons can spend here million United States dollars to generate an Ferrari yacht with the velocity to be 252,000 kilometer per second, and he would spend no money to develop an Ferrari yacht that can contain the velocity to be 25 km per hour. But what if here would be an women to be chief financial officers? In that cases, women chief financial officers. Now here we can see that is the moments women chief financial officers can spend million United States dollars. I mean, she can waste million United States dollars to generate an yacht with the velocity would be 25 km per hour, and she would not spend one penny on the Ferrari yachts with the velocity to be 252,000 km per second. And here, that is the moments, and it is the difference between the leadership to be financial chief, chief financial officers, where gender is man versus women. And now, here we are discussing about the Ferraris, but let's coming to the points. And here the coming to the point is the here we could notify it is the ugly girls here, that is here Muskan Madans. Well, now here you can see uh, uh, now it is the Muskan Madans. She is neither intelligent nor attractive, and she contains no leaderships. Well, now here we can see this points. It is the beautiful moments that we can see. We can state that Muskan Madans contains neither intelligence nor leadership nor competence or nor attractives, and that is the significant momentums at the points. Okay, now let's check it. Well, here according with Muskan Madans, she contemplates and questions why leadership is masculine, why financial literacy is masculine. Now here I am replying on the questions. Question is why financial literacy is masculine. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Here we can see the Ferrari yacht's velocity would be 252,000 km per second. Here financial support is million United States dollars. That is the example of masculine financial literacy, and we can see the points. Now here financial literacy is to the provide financial support on Ferrari yacht with the velocity to be 252,000 km per second. Here we could see that it is the clear so that financial support on the Ferrari yachts with the masculine velocity, because 252,000 km per second is a clear cut masculine velocity, and in this cases here that is the way financial literacy is masculine. Now in this cases why well here we can see here is the second questions of Muskan Madans. Now let's check it the points. Second question is Muskan Madan, why leadership is masculine? Okay. Now here we can see this points. Now why leadership is masculine? Here is the mention at the moments. Now let me discuss the points. Well, now we can see who is the research and development officers. That is man named Ernesto Lazarolandra. Okay. On the other hand, here we can the chief product development officer is Gian Maria Fuelgenji. Okay. And now let's check at the points. And here we can see they are ready to produce what? Well, they are ready to produce and yacht, Ferrari yachts with the oh my god, oh my god, okay. Now here you can see this points. Well, now here we can see when chief both of chief products development officers and here chief research and development officers are men. Here Ferrari achieves the velocity is normally 252,000 km per second, and we have discussed the benefits about when the clan is Argentine football teams. Well, I think it is the best of the moments that we have to discuss the here about Jordan football teams. Okay, now here just I request to wait and watch, and in this points, now let's check it. Well, departure is Tel Aviv, Israel. Okay. Now, departure is Tel Aviv, Israel. Okay. Now, let's check it. Here, Jordan is the eastern neighborhood of Israel, and in this cases, Jordan's contains here none of Jordan contains mostly none of the naval routes. Okay, as a naval yacht is departure is Tel Aviv, Israel. And what is the shops? We can see here arrival is Arlington. Well, Arlington Yacht Clubs. The Arlington, the city of Texas, provincial state of United States of America. Okay. Now let's check the moments. Here, first stop is here the sea near to Italy and Tunisia, and hence the second stop is the sea beach near to here between sea beach, Strait of Gibraltar between Morocco and Spain. Okay. Now let's check it. What is the third points? Third stop is here sea beach near to southern Portugal. Fourth stop is here sea beach near to northern Portugal. Well, first stop is sea beach near to England. Plymouth, the city of England. Well, now let's check at the moments. Fourth stop is next stop is sea beach near to Iceland. Okay. Now here we can see this is the moments. Okay. Now next stop is sea beach near to Canada, and next stop is sea beach near to where New York, and next stop is sea beach near to here Miami. Well, here the city of Florida, provincial state of United States of America, and here three stop is in next three stop is in here Mexican Gulf, and one stop is in American Gulf. Now here we can see. Now let's fit the jumps. Okay. Now here we can see these moments. Well, what is the naval distance? That is 9053.7 nautical miles. And here, that is the momentums at the points. What is, 9053.7 nautical miles. That is almost 16,767 kilometers, 452 meters, 400 millimeters. And now, in these cases, well, what is the record? That is almost, round figure is 20,000 kilometers. And in these cases, now let's check the points. What is the beneficiary of the Ferrari yachts with the velocity to be 252,000 kilometers per second? And here, well, naval distances, now let's take it. When naval distance is 78,000 kilometers and naval velocity is 252,000 kilometers per second. In that cases, now here we can see, travel time would be 0.0675 seconds. And now, that is the moments. Oh my Adonais. Well, football has been started. And here we can see, let's check at the momentums at the points. Here is something as beautiful journeys. Well, now in this cases, arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock. Well, now here we can see this point when departure time would be evening 6 o'clock, June 27, 2026. Here arrival time would be evening 6 o'clock, 0.2 second past, June 27, 2026. Okay. On the other hand, let's the points. What is the cause of the Ferrari yachts of Jordan football team with the velocity of 20 km per hour when the naval distance is 17,000 kilometers, and in this the case that would be there 680 hours. Now here's my question, that what is 680 hours when the driving period is 12 hours per day. In that cases, here naval timing is 56 days, 8 hours. Okay? And now let's take the points. Arrival time is June 27, 2026. What is the departure dates? Okay. Now in these cases, the moments here, departure dates would be here, June 56 days end in June 27th. Here, now list the points. 29 days end in June 1 or May 31st. That means here in May 2, here 3 days earlier my birthday, morning 10 o'clock, calendar 2026 would be the departure times of Jordan football teams if and only if the velocity would be of Jordan football team naval yachts, Ferrari yachts would be 25 kilometers per hour velocity when naval distance is 70,000 kilometers. And here we can see, it is the clear-cut moments that here there's a journey momentums, the points to be noted. Okay. Here we can see, chief research and development officer to be man, and here chief product development officer to be man is just beneficial for our Ferrari yachts, and this is the significant momentums at the points. And well, now when we can desire the Ferrari yachts to be velocity with to be velocity to be here 252,000 km per second. In that cases, well, chief products development officer to is should be mans and chief research and development officer should be mans because man is more knowledgeable and man is here more intelligence and more competence. And in this case is the points. And it is the reasons that why leadership is masculine because the leadership of the Ferrari automobile company is only dedicated to generate and Ferrari yachts with the velocity to be 252,000 km per second. When the topic is about product developments and research and developments, here research and development of the products to be yachts with the velocity to be 252,000 kilometers per second is the masculine velocities at the moment. In these cases, this level of leadership is eligible to be defined as an masculine. And here, that is the problem of whom? That is the problem of our honorable ugly girl Muskan Madaan. Okay. And now let's check out the moments at the points. Well, here we can see. And what about the women's autonomy and women's independence? Well, it is not relevant in the last stream to be science and technologies. It is the points to be relevant in geopoliticals, where autonomy means dictatorships and here independence is the different points. Now, when women becomes independent, we lost Atul Subhas. When women becomes independent, we lost here Raja Raghuvamshi. When women becomes independent, we lost Ketan Agarwal. And now, it is the topics of the geopoliticals. And now, we want to be in the topics of science and technologies. And here, now I am researching on the Ferrari planes. And if I can get any clues of Ferrari planes or the Richard Branson's British version planes, here I would discuss it on the next live stream. See you then. Khuda Hafiz. Love you.